Before I start this video off, I would like to say a special thanks to @WhyNotEverything and @PinkCaft for helping support the channel and helping me grow, and thank you guys so much for subscribing. We just hit 166 subs, so if you have not subscribed, please do so, and enjoy the video. What is going on, everybody? My name is Chris, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. Yes, I realize I already have a F1 2021 driver predictions video up on the channel, but that one was kind of incomplete as it was kind of a rushed video, so this is the proper video. A lot of the teams are really boring, so, you know, people like Williams, Ferrari, McLaren, Renault, the teams who have announced their lineups for next season, I will still be covering those and giving my thoughts on them, but I just won't spend as much time as I will talking about teams like Alfa Romeo, Haas, Racing Point, Red Bull, and Mercedes. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So let's start with Williams, and, well, they've already confirmed their driver lineup for next season, and they will be going with George Russell and Nicholas Latifi. You know, some people thought that George Russell was going to make the step up to Mercedes next year, either replacing Lewis Hamilton or Valtteri Bottas. He would probably replace Valtteri Bottas in the end, but Williams, he's going to actually fulfill his contract with Williams, and obviously Nick Latifi is going to stay there for another year. So, of course, if Nick Latifi disintegrates in the hands of George Russell, then maybe something will change. But it is Williams. They have a very short budget, so I don't think anything will change for next season. So for 2021, George Russell and Nick Latifi. So let's move on to Racing Point. They've been the talk of controversy here, and for Racing Point, I have Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll. Next year, they're going to be rebranded as BWT Aston Martin Racing. Why do I have Sebastian down for Racing Point? Well, there's been rumors that he's going to go there anyway, first off. And second off, it has been confirmed that Otmar Szafnauer and Lawrence Stroll have proposed a contract to Sebastian Vettel. And we all have to remember why Lance's dad, Lawrence, I always confuse their names, but we have to remember why Lawrence Stroll wanted to buy Force India. It was to expand his son's Formula One career. He didn't just do it to do it. You know, he wanted his son to have a stable career. However, some people are saying, especially Ralf Schumacher, he's come out and said, you know, if Aston Martin is very serious, they need to keep Sergio Perez. But I honestly think Lawrence Stroll is going to say, no, I want my son in the second seat, and I will have Sebastian Vettel in the third seat. And that marks the question, where does Sergio Perez go? So, moving on to Haas now. And for Haas, I have put down Kevin Magnussen and Sergio Perez. I think Sergio Perez is going to go to Haas. Let me explain why. First of all, Haas use Ferrari engines and Ferrari gearboxes. They have a great tie to Ferrari. If you remember, when he was at Sauber and in his pre-F1 career, Sergio used to be a Ferrari Junior Academy driver. He used to be affiliated with Ferrari. That's how he got his seat at Sauber in the first place. There's been rumors that he may go to Alfa Romeo, you know, but I think that if Gunther Steiner and Gene Haas can give Sergio Perez an adequate enough deal to secure him for their team, he would be happy, and Gene Haas would definitely be happy with Sergio Perez and his team. First of all, he'd be replacing Romain Grosjean, the weaker of the two Haas drivers at the moment. He needs to go. He should have been kicked out in 2018. He's been on borrowed time for a while now. And also, for the sponsorship money, Sergio Perez has many backings from many large Mexican sponsorships. And I think it's very tempting for a businessman like Gene Haas to ignore all that stuff. So that's why I think he'll be going to Haas. And I think they'll keep Kevin Magnussen. I mean, just look how he drove in Hungary. He drove an amazing race in Hungary. It would have been P9 if it wasn't for his 10-second time penalty for his team telling him to box on the formation lap. But I mean, you know, that was seriously a good result for Haas. And I think if they want to keep moving up the field, then they need to sign Sergio, a talented driver, a proven driver in Formula One, and keep Kevin Magnussen, another proven driver. There's also been rumors that maybe Nico Hulkenberg would go to Haas. I don't believe that one. And yeah, I mean, there are also speculations that Haas may drop out of the sport or that they'll sell off their company, which that's really a last resort for Gene Haas to do something like that. So that's why I put Sergio Perez and Kevin Magnussen in Haas for 2021. And now we come to the question, what happens to Alfa Romeo? Will they even be Alfa Romeo next year in Formula One? And I have gone with Antonio Giovinazzi and Robert Schwartzman. So let me currently explain to you how Alfa Romeo Racing Sauber works. Alfa Romeo Racing is just the name of the team. They are operated by Sauber AG. Sauber was founded in 2000-something by Peter Sauber, and they are a Formula One team. In 2019, they got Alfa Romeo on as their title sponsor and have been ever since. Now, let me tell you, first of all, there have been Italian rumors from Italian newspapers that Alfa Romeo are going to withdraw their name from Sauber. Unless Sauber can prove to them that they have what it takes to be in Formula One, then Alfa Romeo will withdraw their name. I'm kind of half and half on it. I can see why they would want to drop out of Formula One, but I can also see why they wouldn't want to drop out of Formula One. So let me explain to you how the team works. Sauber chooses one driver for one of their seats. And in this case, at the time, it's Kimi Räikkönen. However, because they are a Ferrari Junior team, and they're basically Ferrari's bitch, kind of like how AlphaTauri is Red Bull's bitch. So, another seat is operated by Ferrari. And right now, it's occupied by Antonio Giovinazzi. I think Ferrari are going to give up on Giovinazzi, and Sauber are going to keep him at their seat. Kimi Räikkönen will leave the sport at the end of this year, and they will bring in young hotshot Robert Schwartzman from F2, so we will have two Russians on the grid next year. But here, let me explain to you why Robert Schwartzman would make the step up instead of Mick Schumacher. First of all, Mick Schumacher is terrible in F2 at the moment. He's not that bad, he's gotten some podiums. He's gotten, one race win or something like that? Hungary from 2019, I think it was. But he's just an average driver, and I don't think he would be that good in a Formula One car. Kind of like Nick Latifi. Nick Latifi is well off the pace of his teammate George Russell, and I can see that happening to Mick Schumacher and Antonio Giovinazzi. Plus, Antonio Giovinazzi is not even that good of a driver. He has his downfalls, but for the most part, he's at okay. Robert Schwartzman, on the other hand, he's currently leading the F2 championship, and I do think he will become world champion this year and follow in Charles Leclerc's footsteps as a Ferrari Junior to win the title in F2 and make his move into F1 for next season. Could we see that kid in a Ferrari in the next couple of years? My God, I hope so, because he is lightning fast. So for Alfa Romeo Racing, Orlen Sauber, I don't know if Kubica stays at Alfa Romeo as a test driver, then the Orlen badge will stay, but if he doesn't, then the Orlen badge will go. So for Alfa Romeo Racing in 2021, I have Antonio Giovinazzi and Robert Schwartzman. So now we move on to the newest team, the AlphaTauri team, rebranded from Toro Rosso, and at that team, I have Daniel Kvyat and Pierre Gasly. So for Pierre Gasly, I think Red Bull know how talented he is. Helmut Marko knows how talented he is. The kid just struggled under pressure in the senior Red Bull car. Will he make the jump up to replace Alex Albon this or next year? I don't think so. I think they're pretty happy with Alex Albon for the time being. If they need to do something to change that lineup, then they will. But as for Daniel Kvyat, on the other hand, as long as he can match Pierre Gasly's performance and still prove that he can be a good driver to AlphaTauri, and possibly, if he really steps up, maybe for some miraculous reason, make a return to the sister Red Bull team, the Red Bull Racing senior team, Yeah, so I think they're going to stick with their same lineup. I think they have a very strong lineup. It's going to give them a lot of points. I think they have a strong car this year that's pretty close to where they were last year in terms of performance. Pierre Gasly has publicly stated that there's some aerodynamic issues with the car, but I think, as far as drivers go, they're pretty set on drivers at the moment. Red Bull obviously lacking in the driver front with Nobuharu Matsushita. Is that his name? I don't know if Matsushita is. There is one. I think he's Japanese. I want to say he's Japanese. Don't call me out if he's not Japanese. But there is a driver in F2. He races for Dams or something. I gotta look him up, but he's a Red Bull Junior, and the other Red Bull Junior that they have that could possibly maybe make this step to F1, but it's very unlikely, is Yuri Vips. So, for 2021, Scuderia AlphaTauri, Daniel Kvyat, and Pierre Gasly. So now we move on to Renault DP World F1 team. They've already confirmed that they will be sticking with Esteban Ocon, but they will also be returning Fernando Alonso. Did you know that when he returns next year to Renault, it will be his third stint at Renault? Obviously, he won 2 world titles with them. Then he moved to McLaren for a year, and then he stayed at Renault for 2 more years after moving to Ferrari in 2010. And now he's returning back to Renault after leaving the sport in 2018. It's not the most interesting lineup, but obviously seeing Fernando Alonso back in Formula 1, it brings a tear to my eye. But obviously it was big news when it first came out. Now it's not so big anymore. But, obviously Daniel Ricciardo chose to leave and will be going to the team who he chose to go to next. And that team that Daniel Ricciardo has chose to go to is McLaren, and they have already confirmed their 2021 lineup. They will be going for, I'm going to get so much slack for that Daniel Ricciardo picture. It was the funniest one I could find. I think it's hilarious. But they will be going for Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. It's going to be the meme team next year at McLaren. I am so looking forward to seeing Daniel Ricciardo, one, in a very competitive car next year, because McLaren, first of all, they are amazing on the aerodynamic and chassis front, but now they're going to be switching from Renault to Mercedes engines next year, so they will be ultra competitive in a straight line, especially against Ferrari. And there is one man that has made the mistake, sadly a mistake, of moving from McLaren to Ferrari next year. I think we all know who it is, and we are going to the Scuderia next. I am going to try so hard not to make this bit just a Ferrari rant, but their 2021 lineup, it's already been confirmed, will be Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc is in contract till, I believe, 2024 with Ferrari, so hopefully he'll be able to win a world title within those years. Hopefully. And Carlos Sainz, I think it's a 1-year deal, and obviously I think Mattia Binotto has said that he's not going to be playing second driver to Charles, even though Charles technically is a number 1 driver, and he's more likely to be favored by Ferrari when it comes to making somebody a world champion. Carlos, he does know his stuff. He's going to be a great driver for Ferrari. He's outperformed Lando Norris. He's not doing that good this year. I think the car doesn't really click with him as well as it did last year. But hopefully in a Ferrari, that guy can get some podiums and maybe, with the help of Charles Leclerc, bring the Constructors' title back to Maranello for the first time since 2008. But there have been some small rumors here and there. There's been some small talk in the paddock after these first 3 rounds, the Austrian Grand Prix, the Styrian Grand Prix, and the Hungarian Grand Prix, with the lack of Ferrari's engine performance and just performance overall, if Carlos will actually be moving to Ferrari. Yes, he will be moving to Ferrari. It's set in stone. He even came out and said, I know it's not easy. It's hard to not recognize the fact that Ferrari aren't as competitive as they were last year, but a name as iconic as Ferrari and linked to so much heritage and history, it's hard to not, make a deal like that. And hopefully they can get back on the podium next year. I highly doubt it. They're going to have to wait till 2022, as the chairman and CEO of Ferrari has stated previously. But hopefully, miracles happen. So, and being a Ferrari fan myself, I hope things get better very, very quickly. But we only have 2 teams left, the top 2. So let's go over to Honda's team. And I know I'm probably going to get some hate for calling Red Bull Honda's team. It's not Honda's team, it's still Red Bull, but we do move on to Red Bull Racing Honda, and I do think they're going to stick with the same lineup of Max Verstappen and Alex Albon. Of course, Max Verstappen is in contract, just like Charles Leclerc is at Ferrari, until 2024. And Alex Albon, you know, he's not been performing the best. He could have won in Austria. He was a bit too impatient and all that, you know. But honestly, he's been consistent. He's a very consistent number 2 driver. He's so close to his first podium. He's going to get that this year. Hopefully he can get his first race win this year if they can figure out their chassis problems, their downforce issues. Of course, the RB16 this year is very, very hard to drive. Both drivers have said. Obviously, Max Verstappen crashing on the installation lap in Hungary on his way to the grid. That was kind of bizarre when that happened. I was watching it live when it happened too. But, you know, as for Max Verstappen, there's no way he's going anywhere unless Mercedes really want him in the next couple of years. If Lewis Hamilton decides to retire and they don't choose to renew Valtteri Bottas's contract. And they could buy out Max Verstappen for a shit ton of money. But honestly, I don't see that happening either. I think Red Bull, I think it's pretty clear that for next year, 2021 Red Bull Racing Honda, they will be sticking with Alex Albon and Max Verstappen. And that brings us to our reigning champions, Mercedes-Benz AMG Petronas. And I think that they will stick with the same lineup of Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. They're not going to get rid of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, first of all, there's nowhere for him to go in Formula One, and if he wanted to leave, there's pretty much nowhere he could go either. And second of all, I mean, it's Lewis Hamilton. They want him to stay. He's an amazing driver. His politics are really kooky, and not many people like him, but his racing is amazing, and, you know, he's a good racer. So that's Lewis Hamilton. As for Valtteri Bottas, it's been confirmed by Toto Wolff and by Valtteri Bottas that they are in contract renegotiations with Valtteri. So I think Valtteri Bottas is going to stay at Mercedes. Plus, the only man that could have really challenged him was George Russell. And now has been confirmed that George Russell will be staying at Williams. And Valtteri Bottas gets to keep his Mercedes seat for at least one more year. And obviously, I think Lewis is going to win his 7th world title this year. It's pretty clear about that. And as for Valtteri, well, maybe he could vent a challenge to Lewis this year. But honestly, I think it's pretty much set in stone. Lewis Hamilton, 7-time Formula One World Championship. He will equal Michael Schumacher's record this year. Mercedes are going to take another title back to Brackley with them. 7 consecutive world titles. That's insane. Anyway, yeah, that's Mercedes AMG Petronas F1, whatever they're called now. They have so many sponsors on that car, it's insane. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Those were my F1 2021 driver predictions, driver moves, driver transfers for next season. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just one quick reminder, make sure to like if you actually did enjoy the video. You know, it really helps me out, as the YouTube algorithm really hasn't kicked in for me yet. I only have 166 subscribers at the time of making this. Make sure to subscribe as well if you want to see more content like this in the future. And if you are already subscribed, comment pizza down below and tell me what content would you like to see on the channel. Guys, also, 85% of my viewers are not subscribed to my YouTube channel. So if you could, make sure you subscribe and like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.